Okay, so we're recording. We're going to go over any questions you have from the final exam review number 1 packet. Number 20 was asked. Okay, so number 20, we see here that's a circle, and you have two, we call them secants. Pass through the circle, where, like, you have angle P here, you have arc QT, and you have arc RS. Let me get a highlighter out here. You have that, you have that. You have that, right? So that's what we have to focus on. Now, if you're stuck on it, this is where the list of topics will help. Great, let's close that down. Okay, list of topics. Number 20 says that's from 10.5, okay? So you can go to your chapter 10 notes. 10.5. And you can see that we see that situation over here. Measure of angle 3 is half of xy minus wz. Okay, so that's precisely what we're going to do. 42 degrees is half of 14x minus 2 minus 5x plus 4. Hopefully you guys set up correctly. So just doing the setup, if there's like a 4-point problem, at least give you 2 points for doing the setup. And again, there is a reference sheet. If you could do the chapter 10. There we go. Yeah, it's there also. X equals half of m minus n. M's a bigger arc and it's a little arc. All right, great. Then you just work it out. When you work it out, it's up to you how you want to do it. I mean, you could distribute the 1/2, but actually we'll multiply both sides by 2 first. That might be a little easier. So you get 84 on the left side, and the half and the 2 cancel. Then you have 14x minus 2, and then minus 5x minus 4. Okay, you guys should the minus of both 5x and plus 4. You keep going. 9x minus 6, right? Because you have 14x minus 5x, you have -2, -4. Move the 6 over to the other side, you get 90 equals 9x. X is 10. And that's that. There we go. So that's number 20. Any questions with that one? One thing I think would help you too, because I did label all these questions by section numbers. If you see a problem that's kind of like it on the final, like let's say look at number 19, like okay, you see a question like number 19, like, oh my God, I forgot that. I don't know what to do. Go to list of topics. That's number 19, 10.4. Open up 10.4. I mean, well, you can go to Schoology and open it, or you can, if you have your notes, I hand it out to you guys and printed them. And you kind of look around to see, do you see something that looks kind of like, oh, I do. Number 10.4.3. And you see, oh, or you look up here, oh, angle D and angle F equals angle E and angle G. Oh, and those out to 180. Okay. So that's how you could do, really help yourself in the final exam tremendously, is having those things open. And of course, obviously my hard drive is pretty well organized, almost to a fault. Sometimes I'm a little too OCD about it. But if you have a hard time looking, hold on a sec. We're a little sluggish here. Okay, there we go. Let me close this down. I don't need this open. Let me close this edit. Okay, there we go. For your Windows, that's better. Yeah, just click here. That's right there. So I mean, totally could access this stuff pretty easily. So you may want to, if you have two computers when you do this, when you're on Zoom calls, like I sometimes have two computers, maybe have one device open that where it has Schoology open, you can click on, files, stuff like that. Where it makes sense for you, or just have multiple windows open. So yeah, that's pretty much should be pretty straightforward. Okay. I'm going to do 32. Are there other questions you guys want to ask? Okay, let me do 32. Because I know that gets some people some trouble on Thursday. And I think there'll be one question like this one. 37, okay. Let me do 37 because that was just asked. Oh, yeah, we kind of covered this. We did this, I think, on Friday. Let me do 32 first, then I'll come back and do 37. So here you have a hexagon. And you can draw this if you like. So clearly I've drawn 6 triangles. We go all the way around as a full circle, 360 degrees. They get divided by 6. So each of these vertex angles here, that's 60, that's 60, that's 60, that's 60, that's 60, that's 60. If I focus on maybe that right there, $60 degrees. Okay. And that's 20 and 20. Those naturally have to be the same. You already know that side 20, so this will be 20 right there. And you got 120, 120 degrees left over, right? And these are going to be the same because they're opposite congruent sides. And you have 120 left over for those bottom 2 angles. So you got to split that equally. So you get 60 and 60 again. So now I've got an equilateral triangle. Okay. Now I've got myself an equilateral triangle where all the sides are going to be the same now. So that's also 20. Okay. Great. Awesome. What do I do with that? Well, I need the area of that triangle, right? Or figure out some dimensions. If that's 20, that's clearly going to be 10 because remember, these are the same. And that's the height of the triangle. 8 squared plus 10 squared equals 20 squared. 8 squared plus 100 equals 400. 8 squared equals 300. H is root 300. And we could simplify that because that's 100 times 3. And root 100 I know is 10. So it's 10 root 3. Now, if you so desire, you could also use the 36 and 90 ratios, which we did talk about in this class. That's 60, that's 30, that's 2s, that's s root 3. Okay. So you can do that too, 20, 10, 10 root 3. That works. Okay, so you got 10 root 3. And the formula for a polygon, which is given to you right here, I mean, you have to do some work, obviously, before you get to that point. Plug into the formula, but the formula's right here. 1/2 times apothem times the perimeter. Well, the apothem is the height, which now I know is 10 root 3. The perimeter, obviously, you have 6 sides, and each side is 20. And you multiply it out. You should get 300 root 3 if you do it. No, 600 root 3, my bad. Yeah. 600 root 3. And there we go. That's all. So hopefully that's okay. So oh yeah, 37. I know someone asked about 37, but 37 here. So surface area is the area of all faces. Okay. We'll clearly have two triangles. And three rectangles. Okay, the triangles obviously have a base of 3 and a height of 2. That's true for the other one in the back. So 2 and then 1/2 times base times height. Work that out. That should become 6 if you do it correctly. And they have three rectangles. One of the rectangles is 10 by 3. So that's 30. And then two of them are going to be 2.5 by 10 feet, like this. And you have the other one right next to it. So you have two of those. Which will be 50. Add it all up, you get 86 square feet. That's the own sun. Now, the answer key put it in the wrong units. I don't know why they put cubic, because it's not volume, it's surface area. But yeah, so you have to know how many faces you have, and then find the area of each of those faces. We have two triangles are congruent, two rectangles are congruent, and one other rectangle. So we're going to be spending a lot more time on solids or three-dimensional shapes or three-dimensional objects in just a little bit. Before we move on to 12.4, and we'll do 12.4, then we'll do a break after that, and then we'll come back and we'll do 12.5, 12.6, and we'll do a lunch break, and then we'll talk about final exam review. That's our plan for today. So let me open up chapter 12 stuff before I get into that. And we do have a worksheet for 12.4. Yeah, it looks like we have some learning to do, then a worksheet follows, some learning to do, a worksheet follows. So yeah, I've still got quite a bit of stuff to cover today. But yeah, before I move on to the second half of chapter 12, let me close that down. Close that down. Close that
Mr.
down.
E.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to leave at
Sure.
like 10:30ish.
No problem. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll definitely share the recording so you can watch that too tonight. Yeah. Anyway, any other questions on this review? No? Okay. So let me close this down. And let me open up 12.4. And we'll keep the formula sheet open because there are some formulas that we'll need to use that are on this document. Okay, so we're still recording. So this one's on volume of prisms and cylinders. Okay. A prism is like a box, think of it that way, and a cylinder is kind of like a can. And I don't care for this. So first off, you're asked to find the area of this shape. Here's a little warm up. If you want, you could draw it that could help. So you got a triangle. Where the base is going to be 26. And the height's going to be 21. You have a square. Where it's 14 and 14. And you have the formulas, which, you know, you have a formula sheet right here. Area of triangle is 1/2 times base times height. Area of rectangle is BH. Not hard, right? I mean, square, same thing. So area of the square is, of course, 114 times 14. Use a calculator, 196. Area of a triangle is 1/2 BH. Okay, 13 times 21. which is 273. Wait, oh, yeah, no, I got it, yeah. Then you add those up. You should get 469. So hopefully that's okay. Okay, cool. So here he asked to find volume. Now volume is space, right? How much space you take up. So it's gonna be three-dimensional. So here's like a box, right? It's actually a cube. That's the length of the side. And really it's kind of like length times width times height. But the length, the width, and the height are all identical in the cube. So you can see here like this sort of kind of wacky shape, like it's like kind of like a puzzle piece, like find the volume of the puzzle piece in cubic units. So if we look at that one there, I'm trying to understand this correctly. You could kind of think of it like three different solids or three different boxes. So the top box is 2 by 2 by 1, which is 4. This box right here is 1 by 2 by 1. And the bottom is going to be 7 by 2 by 1. Which is 14. Add it all up, you get 20. And we always say it's cubic units. So let's look at this one here. So you got a little small piece up top. That's 3 by 1 by 1. And this right here is 3 by 1 by 2. 9, 3 plus 9, of course, is 12. So that's 12 for that one. So that's just what we do. And here are some formulas for some more typical shapes. This is called a prism. It's kind of like a box, or you think like a fish tank or something like that. Capital B stands for the area of the base, and H is the height. And the base could, depend on what shape you have, right? Like this case, we have a rectangle, so you got to do length times width, right? Or for the cylinder, the base is a circle, do pi r squared. So again, very, very straightforward. Just depends what shape you have. So we'll try some here, then we'll do the worksheet. So in this case, here our base is a trapezoid. Okay, so that's 14, that is 6, and that is 3. Okay, so to find that area is not that hard. There's a formula for that. And actually, you could look it up right here. Yes, it's that area, 1/2 B1, B2, B1 plus B2 times H, not that hard. So do 1/2. 6 plus 14 times 3. So you get 30. And then the height of the solid is 5, because you have the trapezoidal base and you have to go up 5 to get to the next trapezoidal base. So just BH is a volume. Then capital B is 30, height's 5, 150 cubic centimeters. That's all. Questions on that one? Okay, next up is a circle. So your radius is 9, right? So the base is a circle, so you need pi r squared. Just 81 pi. And again, in case you forgot the equation circle, it's right here, pi r squared. And of course, you got to multiply by height to get the volume. So volume is capital BH, as you see right above. Or for a cylinder, pi r squared h. So 81 pi, and the height here is 6. You should get 486 pi. And that'd be cubic feet. In case I forgot, for the other problem, that was cubic centimeters. So you get 486 pi cubic feet. Okay. So it's this here, you try. Not that hard. Your base is a rectangle here. 4 times 2 is 8. Volume is capital BH. 8 times 1.5. You get 12. Okay. Same thing here. Even though it's slanted, that's still the height. So again, you're doing BH, but the base is a circle with a radius of 4. So you get 112 pi. And that's cubic centimeters. Okay. Any questions on those two? Okay. In this one, you're told the volume is 90. You have X, X, and X. So your base, your height's X. So base is X squared. This X to 3 power equals 90. So it's cube root of 90. So we do that. You should get 4.48. Or say 4.9. 4.5, sorry. Inches. So there we go. Hopefully it doesn't seem too hard. You probably have to deal with volume, maybe like chemistry or physics, maybe like, density, stuff like that. Perhaps you might have to do those kind of problems, So anyway, cool. So let's go ahead and clear that. Any questions before we do the worksheet on this? Okay. So you'll have this problem to do, which is similar to what we did in the notes. You have volume of prisms here. Here you have the volume they have to solve for x, and then just some final exam review stuff. So 10 questions. Do them all. I'll definitely share the even answers with you guys. Oh, actually, they do share one of the evens, number 10. Okay, I'll put you guys in breakout rooms. We'll do it for about 12 minutes. We'll come back. We'll talk, and we'll do a break at 10:15. So let me stop sharing. Pause the recording. Okay, so for number 2, you're asked to find the volume, and you got to think of the base as being a triangle. So volume is base times height. So imagine you were to take the triangular face and have it sit on the ground or on the table. Imagine it kind of looks like maybe like a triangular piece of cheese or something. So the base is a triangle, this right here, and you're doing 8 times 6 times 1/2, which is 24. And the height's going to be this guy right here. And you should get 96 square meters. So that's number 2. For number 4, the base is going to be a parallelogram right here, where that's one side and that's the altitude. So you have a parallelogram base, 4 times 3, which is 12. And then this is going to be the height of it. So if you took the parallelogram face and had it sit on the ground or on the table, then it would stand up by 6 millimeters. So you have 72 millimeters cubed. Okay. And 3 and 5 should have been pretty straightforward. That, just 63 times 3, length, width, and height. Your base is a rectangle 9 times 7 times 3. That would be 189, of course. Cubic inches. And for number 5, you have a circular base. So pi r squared, pi times 3 squared. So 36 pi, cubic feet. Oh, and by the way, that should be cubic units for number 2 and number 4. Okay, question on those 4? Okay. And then here, 6 and 8. So 15 times x times 8 equals 1440. 120x equals 1440. X will be 12 meters. For number 8, you're going to have to use a little bit of Pythagorean Theorem business. So that's 8. That's going to be 15 right here. So your base is 1/2 times 8 times 15, which would be 60. The height, of course, is x. So 360 equals BH. So you get 6 feet, that one. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Where'd you get the 15?
Pythagorean Theorem. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I kind of glossed over it, but yeah, because you have 17 and 8, and it's also like say y. If you do Pythagorean Theorem, you should get 15. So that's that one. And for number 7, obviously x is your radius, so pi times x squared times the height 2 equals 72 pi. Pi's cancelled from each side. 2x squared equals 72. X squared equals 36, x 6. That's 6 centimeters. Hopefully that's okay with that one. Okay. Come back here again in case we're stuck. You think this is 2 solids, that's going to be equals 1 and 1. 3 times 4 times 5, which is 60. And this right here, we'll call it 1 and 2. 9 times 4 times 2. Which is 72. And then finally for these here, let's just review. Circumference is 2 pi r. But you have to figure out the radius. That's not quite clear what that is. You already got the arc length, so actually backtrack a little bit. The arc length over the circumference will equal 35 degrees over 360. Or you do that. The arc length is 5.5. Whatever 35 or 360 is, times 2 pi r, and you got to solve for r. And if you solve for r correctly, you should get about 9. Yeah, you should get about 56.6 centimeters. And then here, you're given the radius. So you do 115 divided by 360 times 2 pi times 13. So it's 26 pi. Oh. Yeah, you should get about 26.1 for the arc length. So yeah, that's all. Okay, so it's 10:24. Let's come back at 10:40. And then 10:40, we'll start 12:05. We'll do the 12:05 worksheet with that. Then we'll do 12:06, 12:06 worksheet. That'll take us to a lunch break, probably around 11:40-ish. We'll have a lunch break. And lunch break will be probably about 35, 40 minutes. Then we'll come back and do more final exam review stuff. So anyway, let's take a 15-minute break. So it's 10:24. Let's come back in 15 minutes. So we'll be back at 10:40. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay, so let's get going. So I don't care about the word plexor. So here again, you have to find the surface area just to kind of a warm up. So this is a pyramid with 4 triangles, and this is going to be 5. I'm assuming that's a right angle. We probably should have been told that. And that right there is going to be 5√2. That's just using Pythagorean Theorem. You do 5 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. So c is √50. Okay, which will reduce to 5√2. And you have looks like a height of 8 here. So it should be the same over here as well. Only tricky things, I'm not sure what to make of the other triangular side. Actually, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. I'm guessing this is probably equilateral. You know, we're gonna skip this problem. Okay. I don't think we have enough information. Let's just move on. Okay. You know how to find surface area, find the area of all the faces. I'll make sure it's obvious how to find it. We'll just move on because that just seems very confusing. So again, sorry for wasting our time there. Volume pyramid is 1/3 BH. So B is the area of the base. That's true for a cone as well, but the base is a circle for a cone. Whereas for a pyramid, it could be a lot of different things. It could be a rectangle, it could be a square, it could be a parallelogram, it could be a trapezoid, it could be a hexagon, like it could be a lot of different things for a pyramid. The cone is just like an ice cream cone. Think of it that way, right? It's circular at the bottom, and of course, pointing at the top, or you can flip it over, and it could be circular at the top and pointing at the bottom. Same thing with the pyramid. But usually pyramids have a base and then it's pointing at the top, like maybe the pyramids in Egypt. That makes some sense there. So here we're just supposed to find the volume, just work it out. Okay, shouldn't be too hard. So volume is going to be that. The base is a triangle. So you get 12 for the base, the area of the base. And, you know, 4 and 6 automatically act as the base and height of that triangle because they're forming a right angle. This is your altitude, which is 9. So your volume will be 36. In cubic meters again. Okay. Here, it's a cone, and that's the height of the cone. The radius, of course, is 2.2. So doing 1/3, your volume is 1/3. There the base, which we'll say pi r squared, times altitude. Okay, you work that out. So 22.8. That's cubic centimeters. I think I did that correctly. Yep. Okay. And then here you have a hexagon. So you gotta find the area of that base. That's a little crazy. So it's 4, 4, 4. And we talked about when it's hexagon, you want to form 6 equilateral triangles. That's 4. That's 4. You have to do that. So we 2√3, by the way. We work that out. That's part of 36 and 90 triangle. The ratios there. So 1/2 times your apothem, which is 2√3, times your perimeter. So you have 6 sides. Each side is 4. So you have 24√3. And the volume, of course, is 1/3 times the base times the height. The area of the base is 24√3. And that's supposed to be H. Sorry, it looks like 6. Or a little b. Yeah, it's times 11. Because it has to be a perpendicular segment from the corner of the vertex down to the base. Even if it might be perfectly straight leaning, it's just a perpendicular segment. It should get 88√3. That's cubic yards. Okay. Hopefully that all makes sense. Okay, then we got problems before we do the worksheets. So yeah, here's question. Yeah, go ahead. You need me to go back?
Yes, please. Thank you.
There we go. Yeah, so the red and the green is for the triangular pyramid. And the all green is a cone that's slanted, and of course the hexagonal pyramid is down below in pink.
Thank you.
All right, welcome. Okay, so here you have a pyramid. Probably looks like the pyramids in Egypt. So height is 144. So V equals 1/3 base times height. The volume is this. Capital B and 144. Third 144, I think, is 48. Yeah. I think I divide that out. and square roots. And usually square root is a square base. So here the base is x squared. Make sure I did all the math correctly. Yeah, looks like it. $215.4. So that's how long it is on the bases. Okay, so why don't you guys try to figure out the next one here. So you have a cone. Volume of the cone is 1350 pi. And the volume of the cone is also 1/3 pi squared h. And the ratio is 18. Pi's cancel. If you solve for h correctly, I think you would have, let me think here, 108h solve for h. Yeah, I should get 12.5. 12.5 meters. So again, it's just very a very formulaic process. The pink obviously goes for 12.5.2. And the cone we did in green. Right there. And you guys will get a chance to practice just a little bit. Okay. Questions? Yep. Okay. So you're doing 2 more problems will involve some trig. So actually, I'm not sure if we have to. No, we do need to do some trig here. So volume of the cone is this. The problem is I don't know r. I do know h. So that's 16. That's r. Hopefully you remember your trig. Tangent of 65 degrees equals 16 over r. Multiply both sides by r. Divide both sides by tan 65. So you should get 7.461. For 09, it'll go a little bit more. So that's what we're going to throw into here. So if I square that times 16 divided by 3 times pi, should get about 932.7. That's cubic feet. Okay. Okay. And lastly, for this one here, let's go brown. There we go. So you got to solve for that radius again. Now you have 40 degrees. So you're going to say volume is 1/3 pi r squared h. So 1/3 pi. We don't know r. Do know the height's 5.8. Before I do that, before I find the volume, solve for r. You got to use the tangent again. Which equals r over 5.8. Solve for r. Just 4.8668. 4.8. And you square that times 5.8 divided by 3 times pi. And that's your volume, 143.9. Okay, any questions? Okay, so we can start the worksheet in just a little bit. We give you guys another minute to copy. Okay. So let's work through 12.5 worksheet right here. So you have to find the volume. Remember, 1/3 pi r squared h is for a cone, 1/3 base times height. It's for a pyramid. Obviously, if your base is rectangular, use the area formed for a rectangle, or if it's a square, use the area formed for a square. You're supposed to solve for x. solve for X, more stuff that comes with trig. And then some final exam review stuff. You're going to have to use a chapter 10 reference sheet to help you with 9 and 10. You can see 9 and 10 answers are given. The odds were 1 through 8. The answers for those are given, not the even. So let's do this for about 12 minutes, and then we'll come back and go over it, and then we'll finish off the last section. Again, I'll do another breakout room. All right. So let's talk about the evens first. Remember the formula for volume of a pyramid is that there the base is 5 times 3, height's 4. So your volume is going to be 20 cubic inches. That's all. Should be pretty easy, right? And then 4, doing 1/3 pi r squared is 5 squared times 8 should be 200 pi over 3. Cubic centimeters. Okay, that's all for that one. Hopefully those seem okay. And just so you know, you have the answers for the odds, but I mean, again, same thing. 1/3 pi 4 squared times 6. That should be 144 pi over 3. Gonna check here. No, 96 pi over 3. Which is 32 pi. And here you have 7, 6. It's 1/3 times 7 times 6 times 9. That's what, 342, 126 cubic inches. Here, that's cubic centimeters. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that right. 214. Yeah. Okay. Questions? Number 6 and 8, just to finish off all the evens. 147 pi equals 1/3 pi x squared times 9. Pi's cancel. 49 equals x squared. X is 7. And for 8, you got to solve for r here. So tangent equals that. You work that out. Which is 10.73. That's your radius. And then you're going to do v equals 1/3 pi 10.73 squared times 22. So 26 by 2.5 cubic feet. You kind of do the same thing for number 7. I think this would be 18 over root 3. For the race, because it is a 36-90 ratio. You do plug into the formula again, not that hard. Here, again, you have the base, which is 32. X is height. Work that out. And that's going to be some decimal. Actually, oh, comes out 6. Never mind. No decimal there. It come out pretty nice. So that's 6 there. And 9, 10, just remember, if that's 250, that's 210. X is going to be half of the difference of those two. No, sorry, 110. My bad. Half of 140, which is 70. And then here, X is half of the sum of those two. Again, the formulas are in the chapter 10 reference sheet, so just use it. That's all you gotta do. You get 106. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Oh yeah, Nita, go ahead.
Can you go over number 7, please?
Yeah. Let's see here. Number 7. Yeah, so I use the 36-90 ratios. We can use trig. It's fine. That's 18. That's 60 degrees. And that's your radius. So tangent of 60 degrees is 18 over r. Solve for r. Where that is. Yeah, you get 10.4 or 10.3923, we'll say. Just be a little more accurate. And then you're gonna do v equals 1/3 pi r squared, which is 10.3923. Times height, which is 18. So you should get 2035.8 cubic centimeters. Yep, there we go, 2035.8. So yeah, just using trig. So you can see how this incorporates some of the stuff we've done earlier. So that reinforces that skill. Okay, questions on 7? Okay. Well, let's move on to our last topic. Okay. So last one, 12.6. So this is yet another shape or a object, a sphere, kind of like a ball. Think of it that way. Let's not do the word plexer. Area is easy. The diameter is 20. Radius is 10. See 100 pi. That's all. So that should be pretty easy. So let's talk about a sphere. What is a sphere? So a sphere is a set of all points in space equidistant from a given point. So if you have a given point, if you draw a circle, that'll be in 2 dimensions, right? or on a plane. But then we have a sphere that's in space or 3 dimensions. So if I took like the tip of my finger and I want to find all points that are, let's say, 5 inches away from the tip of my finger, I have to kind of like consider everything all around me, right? Front, back, left, right, up, down, just all around. It has to be of equal distance. So it has a radius. The surface of a sphere is very easy, 4 pi r squared. That's all it is. Might be hard to understand why that would be true. Some of it actually, you can use a little bit of calculus to help you understand why that would work. That was something that you'll see in a couple of years whenever you do calculus. But it's really just plug and chug. Here R is 8. Here R is going to be 9.15. That's the diameter right there. So surface area is easy, 4 pi r squared. Same thing here. And that's going to be what? 64 times 4, which is 256 pi. And that's square inches. So that's going to get the area of the surface, which is like a curved surface, right? I go in my backyard, bunch of like sporting equipment have, but like here's a little ball. So it's just the area that's all around. That's all. Same thing here. You do 9.15 squared times 4 times pi, which will be 1052.1. I won't leave in terms of how there's a decimal, I guess. 1052.1 square meters. Okay. Hopefully that's a-okay. Okay, let's keep moving here. Here, given the surface area, you want to find the diameter. So 20.25 pi equals 4 pi r squared. The pi's cancel on each side. Divide by 4. It'll be 5.0625. Then you got square roots. Which would be 2.25. So the diameter will be double that. Or 4.5. There we go. Okay. Any questions? All right, let's keep on moving. All right. It's sport called sphering. I've been in one of those. Those are kind of crazy. Not quite like that, but like where you wear a bubble on top, and yeah, people can get pretty aggressive with that stuff. Person rolls down a hillside, an inflatable ball surrounded by another ball. This comes to outer ball is 12 feet. Find the surface area of the outer ball. Well, the radius is going to be 6, right? And the surface area is 4 pi r squared. Remember, circumference is 2 pi r. That's what r is 6. So you have 4 pi times 6 squared, 24 times 4, you should get 96 pi. Wait one sec. Hold on, I messed up. 4 times 36, my bad, 144 pi. That's square feet. So again, it's not nothing too crazy, pretty straightforward. And then lastly, volume. 4/3 pi r cubed, that's the formula for volume. So you have to find the volume of the soccer ball here. So the diameter is 9, so the radius is 4.5. So 4/3 pi 4.5 cubed. That's 4 divided by 3. You should get 121.5 pi. And that's cubic inches because it's a volume. So just how much space the inside of the ball takes, that's all it is. There's a pi there. Okay. Hope that's not too bad. That seems pretty straightforward. And then lastly, I'm guessing the 42 is the radius or the diameter. It's pointing towards a radius, so we'll just say it's a radius. I'll tell you that, don't worry. I won't make it that cryptic. Or 2 raised to the 3rd power is divided by 3 times 4. I'm getting 98,784 pi. And that's cubic centimeters. That's all. So pretty straightforward, not too hard. Any questions? Okay, I'll have you guys try one worksheet, then we'll take a lunch break. Should be pretty fast. So you're asked to find the surface area, you have the radius. Here's a diameter, by the way. Here again, find the volume. You go down for number 6. Here you're given the volume. You're asked to find the radius. And then some review there. So we won't do a breakout session, we'll kind of have you guys do this individually. So let's do this for about 8 minutes. We'll talk about it. Then we'll do lunch break around 11:50. Then we'll come back at 12:30 and then we'll talk about final exam review number 2. And remember, this is a radius. That's a diameter. That's a radius. That's a radius. That's a diameter. Remember, surface area is 4 pi r squared. Volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, how about it? Recording. Okay. So here's a chapter 12 test review, which I think should be in your chapter 12 packets I produced last week or the week before, I don't remember. So these are some questions that could show up in the final exam. Remember, for the chapter reviews, all the answers are shown at the end. I'll do kind of like one of each type, and then I'll talk about the final exam review number 2, and then one under class for today. So yeah, it's all kind of like stuff we've done recently since Friday, right? Remember, F plus V equals E plus 2. So you have 20 faces. You don't know how many vertices you got. 30 edges plus 2. So apparently your solve had 12 edges. So you're just using this formula, that's all. That should be pretty easy. So you could, 4 and 5 would work the same way. Okay. Let's keep moving. For number 6, you got a triangular prism. You have to find the surface area. So you have 2 triangles. Plus 3 rectangles. Well, triangles are easy. That's just 2, 1/2 BH. Rectangles, you have 7 times 10. And then you're going to have to use Pythagorean Theorem to get this side right here. So I call it x. So 6 squared plus 7 squared equals x squared. 36 plus 49 equals x squared. X squared is 85, x is root 85. And I don't think there's any common factors. Sorry, there are any prime factors that are perfect squares. So 5 and 17, yeah. So you just use root 85. So you have another rectangle that's root 85 times 10. And then finally you have this rectangle that's 6 by 10, the one on the far left. Add them up, you should get 42 plus 70 plus 10 root 85 plus 60. And if you use a calculator, work it out. Yeah, you should get about 264.2. And miles, that's kind of weird. The miles squared. I just look at the answer key, make sure we got it right. Yep, 264.2. So the rest to try on your own for practice. So definitely I would do this just to get more practice with chapter 12. Surface area of the pyramid, remember it's going to be area of all faces. So here you have a square plus 4 triangles. The square is easy at 7 times 7. And all triangles are going to be the same. 1/2, the base of the triangle is 7, the height's 9. So you have 49 plus, I think that becomes 126. And that's square centimeters. Okay, just know this is going to be a diameter because it's pointing towards the center. So that's that one. And then octagonal pyramid, remember area equals 1/2 times apothem times the perimeter, or you could say times apothem times number of sides times length of each side. So the height of, yeah, that might be a little tricky. We could probably talk about tomorrow in class. Let you guys battle with that one. Volume of prisms and cylinders. Remember, it's area of the base times the height. So this one here for number 13, 1.5 times 2.1. What's the base? And height is 3.6. You just multiply all of it out. Again, use a calculator. You have to get 11.34. And it's cubic meters. Okay. And just double check the answer key. Yep, 11.34 cubic meters. Here, a cone diameter 16, height 15, find the volume of the cone. So radius is 8 times the height of 15. Yep. Just work that out, not that hard. You should get 320 pi. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes out to 1005.31 if you multiply pi by 3.14. So, yeah, that should be, again, pretty straightforward. Again, a lot of just formula stuff. The formula's all right here. And jump to formula sheet. And finally, for 18 is about astronomy. They say that you have a diameter of 2390 for the shape of a planet, Pluto. So the radius is half of that, which is 1195, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Kilometers. So the surface area is 4 pi r squared. And the volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. And the area is easy. That's just going to be 4 pi. You got to work that out too. So let's see here. Really big number, 1,794. Sorry, 17. 945,091.4. And this one here, yeah, you get also ridiculously big number. Yep, we get the same answers. So yeah, 17 million square kilometers roughly, or close to 18 million square kilometers for the surface area of Pluto. And for the volume of Pluto, it's over 7 billion cubic kilometers. So again, hopefully that seems pretty straightforward. I suggest you guys try the rest of the questions just to get some extra chapter 12 practice. If you want to go back and do all the other chapter reviews, that might be a good idea, like chapter 7, 8, 10, 11. They're all in school. Do you guys have hard copies of them? That might be a good way to practice too for the final if you want extra practice. So as I promised, here's final exam review number 2. I do need to work out this answer key and share it with you guys. We could definitely talk about in class tomorrow. I did print this so I could work through it later today here at home. This one's fair game. This one's fair game. Don't worry about that one, number 4. So 1, 2, 3 are fair game. 4, don't worry about, it's a little too weird. 5 and 6 are also fair game. If I could ask for something like that. So you may want to jot that down. 1, 2, 3 are fine. 4, cross off. 5, 6 are good. And I'll make sure I'll put that in the solution key as well. Yeah, I think 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are all fair problems to ask. Excuse me. Definitely 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16. Those are also good problems too. Okay. 17, 18 are also good ones. Don't worry about 19, it's kind of weird. But this is a word problem, is fine. That'd be 15 degrees. And use a proper trig formula to work that one out. Yeah, these are all fair. Permanent area of these shapes. Those all those are good problems. Okay. Don't worry about 7, didn't really ask a problem like that, or number 8. But 9 and 10 are good ones. We just did this stuff right now. Lateral area is the area of the side, but total surface area, we talked about that's 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Yeah, lateral area surface area is like just the sides like this, not the top and bottom, but we want total surface area. Yeah, don't worry about that. But we have them pyramids and spheres, so 13 and 14 for sure. Here, yeah, don't worry about lateral surface area. I mean, in terms of x, just multiply it out, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about that kind of question or that kind of question. we definitely did this stuff. Yeah, those are all fair game. So those four for sure. Yep, these are all good ones too. Those are all fair game. And again, you're going to want to use a chapter 10 reference sheet to help you with that one, because this formula sheet that I put in Schoology under the final exam test resource folder in final exam doesn't have the formulas for these circle chords, arc kind of situation stuff. So you're going to have to use a chapter 10 reference sheet. Yeah, more of the same. Equation circle we talked about. Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing. I found this just not doing a Google search, and seems like this is like summer classes like ours. So it's pretty good. This is like weeks 4 through 6. So kind of got lucky I found this for you guys. Those are all fair game. Um, 16 is good. Don't worry about, we haven't done rotations or dilations or reflections, translations. Don't worry about that stuff. We didn't do that. You cross those off. I'll cross them off with my solution key. It says here extra credit. Don't think I'm going to put extra credit, because I'm actually going to give you guys opportunities tomorrow for extra when we play our Jeopardy game. But this is old stuff like slope. I'm not putting that stuff because that stuff that didn't get reinforced in this second semester of the course. So don't worry about any of these here. That's page 9. In fact, you can ignore all of page 9. And well, I guess we're all of page 10. I mean, these are good things to know. Like solving system of equations or factoring, but I'm not gonna be asking those kind of questions directly, so don't worry about it. And we haven't really done any practice with systems of equations, so don't worry about that. Factoring, maybe you might have to factor. Maybe you have to FOIL, because we have kind of incorporated that in some of the problems we've done in the last 3 weeks. So yeah, so there's a good chunk of that is not really relevant. And again, I'll go through the solution key. I'll cross the ones you don't need to do, and then you can obviously work on the ones where I do have answers. So yeah, I'd work on this today. This would be good. And then tomorrow we'll work through exam 3 or exam review number 3. Or if you've already done review 2 and you want to start review 3, go ahead. That could be good too. And the answer key is at the end. We don't have solutions. There's actually a lot of questions here. Yeah, you guys haven't done formal proofs. Maybe we could kind of I could walk you through it so you can see how it looks. Yeah, some of these it looks like the cover's like old stuff. But like this is what we've done recently. Yeah, some problems like that. Yeah, that looks all good to me. I see some trig, which is good. Some right triangle, Pythagorean theorem, some triangles. Some stuff about parallelograms and rhombuses, stuff like that. Yeah, good stuff here. Lots and lots of good stuff. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to do for today. So I'll let you guys go. So yeah, it's been kind of a long class, but we definitely need to wrap up chapter 12. So congratulations, everyone's finished all the new material for geometry. That's awesome. So we have 2 more classes. We have in person tomorrow. If you can't make it in person, I'll have Zoom open. I know there's a handful, a couple or 2 or 3 guys that can't be there tomorrow in person. So obviously I won't be able to see you guys in person again. But of course, the rest of you guys will see in person. That'll be our last in-person class meeting. Also, I'll let you know what you need on the final exam to achieve a certain second semester grade. So I'm going to look at the test correction and kind of make sure everything's all straightened out in Power School before I come to campus tomorrow. And again, tomorrow will be our last in-person class. And Wednesday, we'll meet on Zoom for about an hour to kind of do some more reviews or just tackle any questions you might have. And then you'll do the exam online in the Schoology platform, the final exam. And that's it, then we're done. And you know, all's good. I will make sure you guys have access. You guys have my personal email address. I'll email it to you guys, or I'll email from my personal email address. So if there are any issues with the grades, you can obviously shoot me an email to my personal email address, or just if you guys need a recommendation, or if you need any help throughout the fall, you know, I'm more happy to kind of provide some guidance or resources. So make sure you guys have access to that, to my personal. I will still be working at my school this fall, the one in the Bay Area, and actually they gave me a really nice paternity leave package. I'll be on leave from October 15th till January 23rd, fully paid. So it's a pretty sweet deal to, you know, not have to go down there and get paid. And of course, I'll be taking care of third baby and my two other kids. So, but I'll, you know, if you guys ever have questions throughout the fall, or you know, questions about your grades, or you need a letter of recommendation, like, hey, you know, I took a summer class with this one teacher, and you know, maybe that could help you for a summer program for next year or something else, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. And of course, if there are any sticky issues with the grades that I need to clear up or rectify, totally I can make that happen. But I suspect my Christian Brothers account will probably be shut down by the end of this week. So want to make sure at least you could still have some sort of lines of communication if you need to reach out to me. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers it for today. So again, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll do lots of review. We're not covering any material. Definitely do a Jeopardy game. We'll go through these review packets. Maybe look at the test reviews. Maybe I'll try to find some other problems if that helps. But yeah, definitely I think it would be good for us to do a full day review tomorrow in person. Okay, cool. Well, I think we're all set. So no homework tonight. Just keep working through this stuff, through all the review packets. Yeah, and Spencer asked a great question. Is the final on only information from the second half of the class? Yes, it is. Yeah, there are certain things. Actually, let me just really quickly here, because Spencer asked a really good question. Yeah, like things are covered in the midterm. Here's our midterm. I mean, there's certain things that are just so specific to the first 3 weeks. I'm not going to ask on this final exam. Like this is, I mean, it's an easy problem. It's not that hard. I mean, that's 37, but like distance formula. I'm not going to ask distance formula or midpoint. I'm not going to ask about midpoint formula. Segment addition posture. I'm not going to, I mean, you guys should know what two angles add up to. I mean, but again, like, it's not that hard. Like area triangle, of course, we have done. Like sequences, I'm not going to do. Not the contrapositive, converse, inverse stuff. Don't worry about that. I mean, you should not solve a linear equation. But specifics about parallel lines. I mean, they're kind of built into stuff we've done. It's not too heavy on that. Yeah, slope. We didn't do anything with slope, so don't worry about that. Writing equation of lines, we didn't do. I mean, you should know that angle one's 31 degrees, right? I mean, that's kind of obvious. Or x plus 12 is going to equal 38 degrees. And solve for x. The specific things about congruence we're not going to do. We haven't done that at all, like in this weeks 4, 5, and 6. So don't worry about that. About the angle, side angle, side, 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 side angle, side. HL side angle, angle. Like, don't worry about that, or angle, side. Of course, you know all the angles after 360 and 180 in a triangle. You should know that the shortest side is opposite the smallest angle. Yeah, so I mean, stuff like that. I mean, you know, that's kind of already built into it. We have done similar triangles or similar shape diagrams. So I mean, that should be pretty obvious and straightforward. Yeah. We're kind of looking over here. And that's the answer there. So yeah, the answer to your question, Spencer, yeah, nothing like too specific, like distance in midpoint formula, the triangle congruent stuff, like don't worry about that stuff. It's not going to be on this. It's going to be really what we've done weeks 4, 5, and 6. In fact, actually, the final exam review number 1 is a really good model to follow. So, all right, it's almost 1 o'clock. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I know this has gone a little longer than I usually do. Usually I let you guys out early.